talk about unnecessary stuff. Well, Snowflower, a lot of harassment on to score, a lot of damage there. Score could be forced flash coming in. Yeah, gets the flash. Someday now has to flash as well. Nice early invade again by Africa Freaks. Snowflower not done yet. Trolling to the extreme.
Yeah, super aggressive early play there. Get a lot of damage down with Misfortune's passive. And going to try and just harass around this blue buff a little bit longer.
Did a good job of it.
Yep. Well, Zendoa come in, get those early wards, and punish after they lane swap using their dual lane. Both members, of course, 2 early flashes. That's a nice advantage, but KT, they're not going to be too bothered by it. They have Cast and they have Gangplank again. This is going to be a game that is going to be largely about KT scaling, and instead of running the 4-1 split push like we saw in the last game, this time they're going to try and do a 1-3-1 and split push with both Cassidy and Gangplank simultaneously.
And it'll be interesting to see what Mickey can put together on this Ahri. Again, you know, one of his best champions. He is that great assassin mid laner, and maybe got a little bit more room to play around with those skills when he's not having to worry about getting blown up completely by Lux.
Well, the main question here, though, is going to be after that jungle delay where they couldn't take a buff early on, how much faster is Africa going to start getting these turrets? You can see they already have 3 members down onto 1 turret, and they've cut it down to about a third. Meanwhile, the work really hasn't been done as heavily on the bottom turret of Africa, so they're going to have a bit of a time advantage. The wave is drying up right now, but there's another one coming, so can they actually get 2 turrets while their opponents only get 1? And how much time are they going to have to bounce this wave? KT really slow. Africa already recalling, and Ixu gonna have a nice bounce back towards his tier 1. Here.
Farm a little bit more safely.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah. That was about auto attack perfect there. Taking the turret right as the minion wave goes down.
Meanwhile, CKT having to wait for yet another wave right here. Unlikely that they're going to be in as good of a situation with Africa immediately pushing back. So fast push can come through here very nicely. Someday going to be given that wave, does get the full gold, is in range, but...
Oh, slowed a bit. There's a knockup coming in. Someday could be in some trouble. Chani and Arrow jump right back into it. Here comes Score. They're going to try to turn it around. Teleport used by Ixu. Comes down to help out his team. Someday on the run. First blood going to Ixu. Nice kill there, and another slow coming in from Misfortune. Gonna leave it at that though. And that's gonna push it too hard.
Really good teleport. They had the edge right there, and that's the advantage of getting that faster trip down at the price of blowing those 2 flashes early on in the jungle, being unable to complete that camp, and kind of arrogantly jungling on the side where you know Africa has vision. So KT taking some rather silly risks early on and ultimately paying a pretty high price.
Yeah.
They knew Someday's flash was down from that Grump, so nice advantage there, and now they have the pressure on. Meanwhile, Someday got a TP to the top side, but doesn't get a whole lot of CS. Meanwhile, Ixu right here gets that first blood, now has a giant wave to take.
Someday just can't stick around there for that long without a flash, without any way to get away.
This is a good situation, and now Someday going to be a little bit lost on the map. We'll see how well Ixu can actually freeze this. Looks like it's going to hit the tower, so we'll be pushing back out eventually. Someday you can see just moving around the top side right now, trying to place some wards down so he knows whether or not he can actually farm this in relative safety.
Yeah, I mean, he's got time. It's not the end of the world to die like that with GP. You do need to play a little bit more carefully. I mean, it's really all about if Africa Freaks can find a little bit more coordinated mid-game, right? Because doing okay in the early game is something we've seen them do plenty of times in the past. It's can they keep it together once it hits like 15-20 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. And Ixu right here went back with his first blood gold, did pick up a pink ward and warded Tri-Brush. So he got rid of the ward that Someday placed in there, which makes it even more dangerous to play, for Someday to play forward right now. There are multiple different paths the jungler could come from, and he just has no idea. So this is really a pretty free lane for Ixu right now. And Someday's got to be quite scared. But Score is going to see Lyra, so that means it's not going to be as hard for him to catch up to this wave, and just maybe he can even out the CS.
So far in Song, putting some pressure on, but still even in CS, a little bit of a lead for Mickey here in this mid lane. Oh, Charm nearly connecting with Fly there.
Yeah, Fly going to be going for the Rod of Ages first on this Cassidon, so that combined with the GP and how far behind he is going to be really long time before KT is in any kind of fighting condition. Africa will take a lot of advantages here on the map, and looks like the ward timer was a little bit off right there for KT.
Yeah, seen by Songyun and Snowflower, so they can just back off safely.
Good wards. Lyra got some nice deep vision in there. So Africa knew the entire time where score was and back off that well in advance.
Oh, did you get it?
His score got it.
Wow, nice.
Just barely.
Close one. Really close. Oh, meanwhile, a duel in the mid lane. Mickey and Fly